This company has a strange rule. Employees had to push the stone mill for 8 hours a day, because if they didn't finish, they'd lose their food. And even if they did, they couldn't be last. Otherwise the result would be the same. And the daily wage was a sandwich and a bottle of water. The man was furious at the news. He came here to apply for a job as the boss's secretary. Why is he now locked up here? At that moment, the screen on the wall suddenly lit up. The system tells him he must push the graphite 50 times today. Otherwise he will be fired. The man was very happy to hear that. He doesn't want to stay in this company at all. But the colleague next door suddenly reminded him, "You'd better finish the task honestly. Otherwise, you can't imagine the consequences." This guy thinks to himself, "I just want to get fired." But when he heard the shouts around him, he realized what dismissal meant. The man rushed to the stone mill, but he didn't realize how heavy it was. He couldn't move it even with all his strength. Then he shook his arms and put up his sleeves. Can't he even push a stone mill with his 200 kilograms weight? However, the other party still didn't move at all. Seeing that the time limit was about to expire, he used all his strength to push the mill. But it wasn't over yet. He had to do 50 revolutions to complete the task. But as a reward, the system still gave him a cup of special wine. The man's heart was inspired by this ritual. The next step was to work even harder. With the voice assistant's constant encouragement, the man completed 50 laps before the end of the day. Then he got his reward for the day, a loaf of bread and a bottle of water. After the 3-day training period, the rules of the system began to change. Now the basic task is still 50 laps per day, but the last one in the ranking will be eliminated. In order to survive here, the man chose to work hard, but he pushed himself to 100 laps, so he got double the food. And those who didn't complete the task would be fired. The cries of sadness echoed in the air, and it kept the man awake late at night. Early the next morning, he asked his neighbor for some details, but the neighbor told him we were not friends but rivals. He kindly reminded the man, never tell anyone about his daily labor, otherwise someone else will do it harder, and you might be the next to be eliminated. The man knew this very well, and he pushed harder than anyone else. That's it. He pushed his score to 150 points, but he could never have imagined that even with such a high score, he was called out by the doorman. Soon the steel door opened slowly and it was dark inside. He stepped carefully inside. Suddenly the lights came on. Before he knew it, water started spraying. Then a bar of soap was thrown at him. So the reward for 150 points is a bath. This surprised the man a little. Since there is a reward for 150 laps, if the score is higher, the reward will be even better. With this thought in mind, he pushed the mill even harder. Finally, he broke through his limit. In 8 hours, he reached 370 laps. The voice assistant congratulates him for breaking the highest record in the cell's history. A huge reward will be waiting for him at noon tomorrow. The man was so happy he stayed up all night. He finally waited for the reward to arrive. But when he opened the box, he was speechless.